Hey everyone, I'm going to take a little break from the woodworking topic today and look at something different. We're going to talk about how to multiply by 2 and what that means for the current coronavirus situation. I'm going to use Microsoft Excel for this, and there are a lot of other videos online that you can check out that get into the details of the statistical math. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm not an expert. There are a lot of experts out there. I'm just a guy with some common sense, and I've been concerned about this for quite some time now. And I've noticed that there are a lot of people who still aren't worried about it. They're out walking around like nothing is going on because they don't see it. It's not close enough to home that people are taking this seriously. But I just want to show how some simple math, nothing more than multiplying by 2, can hopefully change some people's perspective on this matter. So let's start out. I'm going to use Microsoft Excel for this. So let's start out. Let's say day 1 was March 1st, 2020. And I know that wasn't the first case in the United States. But we're just going to use that for simplicity. It was a little bit before that, but I think beginning of March we might have had 100 or so reported cases anyway. It wasn't a lot. And we will say that we have 1. That's day 1. So now a little trick with Excel, if you highlight this cell here and drag it down, it increments by 1. So now we got March 2nd, and we're going to say here for March 2nd that instead of 1 case, that 1 person infected 1 other person, so now we'll have 2 cases. And to show that, I will do an equals cell F1 times 2. So that means that this cell F1 times 2 is going to give us 2 cases. And now let's say that on the next day, once again, you highlight these cells and grab that little corner there, drag it down. On day 3, we have 4 cases. And then on day 4, we have 8 cases, and so on and so forth. It just keeps doubling every time that you drag the cell down. And 16 cases out of a total United States population of 329 million. This is not bad. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, 16 cases, it's nobody I know, it's in other states, no big deal. All right, now we're up to day 10. Starting to get on the news now because we have 512 cases. It's starting to spread. I'm going to quickly format this cell for simplicity. Let's go to number, no decimal places, and the 1000 separator. All right, 512 cases on day 10, around March 10th. That might actually be pretty close to accurate. So let's keep going down a little bit. All right, people are starting to pay attention because they see that it's spreading. But people are still going shopping. They're still going to restaurants and bars and parties and public places, and they're having lots of meetings at work because everybody loves meetings. And now let's go another 10 days into March 20th. All right, now we're up to 525,000 cases. People are starting to pay a little more attention, starting to get a little bit more concerned. This is kind of a big deal. Now, this is actually where we're at right now. I think we're a little bit above 70,000 right now as of March 25th. So this is a little bit early, but not too far off as far, about a week off as far as the dates go. So really not a huge difference. But notice that 10 days later, right, after 10 days initially, we had 512 cases in the entire United States. 10 days later, if every single person infected 1 other person, and keep in mind that people can be contagious before they start to show symptoms, a week or 2 before they show symptoms. So that person you see in the grocery store or in the mall or in the restaurant or in the meeting who looks fine might not actually be fine. They just haven't started to show the symptoms yet. So this is after 20 days. Right? We're on day 20 and we're up to 525,000 cases if everybody infects 1 other person. All right, and again, each time this is just doubling the previous day's number because everybody infects 1 other person. It might actually be a lot more than that. If somebody gets on a subway or goes into a meeting or works in a restaurant that's serving food, it could be 10, 20, or 50 people that they infect in a single day. Might also be none. That's why we're just going to stick with 2 for simplicity. All we're doing here is multiplying by 2 and adding 1 day. All right, so from day 20, let's go another 10 days and see what happens. All right, day 30, we have 536 million people who were infected, more than the entire population of the United States. That's just 10 days farther from 524,000. And that's only 20 days beyond saying, I'm not worried about it. It's not going to get to me. No big deal. It's only 500 people. All right, we're up to 536 million because everybody infected one other person. That's only after 30 days. And that's why you're hearing so much on the news and on social media, and hopefully from your friends and family as well, about washing your hands and staying indoors. All right, I bought a treadmill back there. All right, we're not going to the gym anymore. We're staying inside, trying to stay safe. It doesn't take a lot of time to get the entire population of the United States infected. Let's take a look at some other little factors here to consider. Let's say that on day 17, everybody decides to stay inside for one day. So we get on to day 18, and we have 65,536 people who were infected because nobody went outside. All right, look at what happens to the numbers down here. Looks a lot better on day 30. Well, let's say that on day 19, everybody stays inside for one day. Nobody goes out, nobody infects anybody else. So we have 65,536. That just got a whole lot better on day 30. All right, let's say that we keep this up for 2 weeks or so. All right, now we're back at that number that we were looking at back around previously around day 10, where we were saying, that's a little bit worried about it, but not too bad. All right, so you can see that just by everybody staying inside for 2 weeks, just to add some context to what a lot of governments are doing and implementing the 2-week lockdown, complete lockdown, stay in the house, don't go out, that little action right there puts us at an entirely different place on day 30. So keep in mind, if we are responsible, you go out to the store, cover your face, put on some gloves, wash your hands. Don't touch your face after you go to the store. Those bags might be infected. The food that you pick up in the store might be infected. People do this kind of stuff all the time, right? Your eye itches, your nose itches, right? You talk to people and they do this while they're talking to you. All right, just imagine if that was some red paint coming off your face, right? Little red paint on your hands, and then you go around and touch the bag, and you pick up the thing in the grocery store, you decide you don't want it, and then you touch the shopping cart, and then you touch the checkout line. All right, you're putting a little bit of red paint on everything. The next person comes along and they touch it, they got red paint on their hands, and then they get a little tickle in their nose, so, tickle their nose, rub their eyes, and all of a sudden they have it. All right, that's how we get up to the entire population of the United States being infected in a very short period of time. So if you're not responsible and you just go out and about your business like nothing is going on, this is where we're going to end up in very short order. So if you are responsible and figure out a way to stay in the house, don't go shopping unless you absolutely need to, then we can keep these numbers down and hopefully have this thing resolved in a much shorter time frame. All right, so if this was helpful to you, please share it. You probably know some people who are not handling this in a responsible manner. So get this out and make sure everybody is aware that they got to play their part to keep everybody else safe. Thank you.